Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Kay Cote, and I am your host here at Action Coach in Central Texas. Today, we have Jason Bronstad, CEO of MALK Organics, to be a guest on the show. We're going to learn all about his business, his journey to business ownership, and what it's really like to own and operate a business. If you're new to our channel, be sure to like and subscribe to get episodes when we drop them. Welcome to the show, Jason, and thank you for being here. I'd love to learn a little bit about you and share about your business.
Absolutely, Kay. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Anytime we can talk about Malk and share the great story with more people, we love to do it. So Malk Organics was originally founded in 2015 in Houston, Texas. So our original founder wanted to transition her son from mother's milk to something other than mother's milk and started making almond milk at home and eventually to farmers markets and then into traditional retail through Whole Foods. So it's a very homespun story and we love it. And it speaks to the authenticity of the brand. The brand is about clean, simple, organic products that you can trust, and we're excited to share more about it today.
Oh, that's incredible. That is so like near and dear to my heart too, like having those clean products. So I'm really, really excited to dive into today's conversation. So, kind of setting the stage, I'd love to learn about your role in the company, as CEO. Is it just you? Do you have outside investors? And do you have employees right now?
Oh, we've got all of the above. So we're in the mid 30s with regards to employees. We have, let's see, in the mid-teens here in Texas. The rest are spread out across the U.S. One of the greatest blessings from COVID is that it gave us the opportunity to work remote, and that meant for leaders like myself, we could go hire the best talent wherever they were. And what a great opportunity to grow a brand when you can hire the best talent. We are private equity backed and have been for quite some time. And I work very closely with our board of directors to ensure that we're aligned and on the continued path of, not only growing our business, but as it has started to finally turn to growing a business profitably, which is, it used to be grow at all costs, profit be damned. And the reality is anything you do, you should have a mind to making sure you're break even or better. So it's been a great journey with incredible support from our investors.
Definitely. Well, that is incredible to hear the feats and like the things you're doing. It sounds like you're setting yourself up for success in business. So I'd like to dive into what does your day to day look like as a founder? Are you working more in the business, on the business, or are you wearing many hats?
So I want to clarify, I'm not the founder. I had the opportunity to join coming in about 4 years ago now, to come in as a consultant and bring some of my CPG experience to help accelerate the brand. So all the honor and respect to our original founder. With regards to my day to day, it changes. It's interesting. I was talking to our corporate controller earlier today. She's been with us now 3 years. And we were talking about how much different life is now than it was even just 3 years ago.
Mhm.
We got as low at one point, I think, to 7 employees, and now we're back up in the mid 30s. So there is always the expectation for a leader to not only understand what your team's doing, but also be able to do it at some level. You always want to hire someone smarter than you that can do it better than you could ever dream of. But 3 years ago, I was signing payroll checks.
Mhm.
And, that's just part of what leadership is. I've done demos, I've been out there at stores, we go to trade shows. So there's nothing that I would ask anyone in my organization to do that I wouldn't be willing to step in and do myself. And that's an important part of building trust and credibility and showing the team that you actually care. And
Mhm.
care is something that we really believe in here at Malk.
That is entirely true. And again, that just like reaches me on so many levels. So I really appreciate that. You're, sharing about that. And, the business as it is now, I like to dive into what makes it special. Like,
Yeah.
who are you serving? Like, if I were to walk into a room, how would I know I was your ideal client?
So the beautiful thing is everyone in America can be our ideal client. Today, the people that are focused and we see largely as our higher index consumers are the consumers that are really focused on paying attention to their nutrition. They want to understand all of the ingredients going into their bodies, not just, oh, this is quick and easy. They want to understand, is it organic? Is it glyphosate free? Is it gluten free? How can I trust this? How many ingredients does it have? Do I know what all the ingredients are? So as we started back in 2018 at Whole Foods, late 2017 into 2018, we started speaking to those consumers. And what I'm really proud of is the selling organization that we put together over the last couple of years. We've been able to expand into Publix. We're in HEBs here locally. We're in Albertson Safeways, Kroger divisions. So as we expand the brand, we continue to see success, and it continues to reinforce that there are consumers in every store in America that want a plant-based milk that is clean, simple, and organic.
Incredible feats, especially like getting into those markets. That's incredible. And how is something, because there are different, I feel like competitors within the scope of the healthy drinks, healthy milks. How do your competitors compare with you?
So there are choices made when you have a brand. What are you going to stand for, and what is the most important thing? And there are brands out there that will do gigantic marketing campaigns, and they will go to pick a fight with big dairy and traditional dairy
Mm-hmm.
with the interest of converting more people over to plant-based milk. And they are doing their best to mimic the exact texture, flavor, and everything they can to dairy.
Mm-hmm.
For us, that's not our path. Our path is to produce the cleanest there is. So our unsweet almond is organic almonds, water, and pink Himalayan salt. That's it. Now, what happens with that? What are the drawbacks to it? Well, we have on our cap, shake your malt well, because we don't have gums, oils, or emulsifiers that bind all the ingredients together. So just like if you were to, okay, go take some oranges and press your own orange juice, if you let it sit there for a while, it'll start to separate with the pulp and the liquid.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we shake it up to put it back into solution, and then you can enjoy it. Where our competitors don't believe that's their path in life, so they have the gums, oils, and emulsifiers.
Mm, that's really good food for thought. Food for
Well
thought.
played.
So what is one thing, you've shared a lot about the business. What's one more thing you wish people knew about the business?
The one thing recently I've been talking to people is I wish they knew how dedicated the entire team is to helping Americans drink a healthier plant-based milk. All the way from I was talking to one of our accounting team members this morning, and who happens to be a vegan and has been a MALK fan for a long time, and just to hear the passion in which he talks about our brand and always asking the question, what can I do to help more people enjoy MALK? And that's across all 30 plus of our employees. As we build this culture, as we bring in the right people, and the right people is defined by ability and culture, that is the most important thing. Are you going to be accretive to the business, and are you going to be accretive to the culture?
Mm.
Because there are some all stars that I could go hire today, but they would not be accretive to culture. So that's not who we're going to bring in.
Yeah, that creating that like internal community, that internal culture is so important. So I'm so glad you touched on that. And it kind of leads me into this next series of questions, which is all about your marketing and what your
Yeah.
team is doing to create a solid marketing to reach people on that level. And so, what is something you are currently doing right now that you're finding success in your marketing?
So our major campaign is hashtag turn it around. And we want people to pick up not just our product, but every product in your home. Pick it up, turn it around, and look at the ingredients. Start to understand what you're actually putting in your body. I'm
Mm,
blessed with two children. My daughter is 11 and a half, but 3 or so years ago, as you know, as I was joining MALK, we're starting to look at ingredients a lot more. And she turns around a bottle of ketchup we had in the house, and she goes, "Hey, Dad, what's high fru?" I'm like, "High
yeah.
fructose corn syrup." So it's that moment of realization that we have the ability as parents, especially, to influence our children's choices and how they view food and how they view nourishing their bodies.
Mhm.
That is the single most powerful thing we can do to change generationally how we show up. My wife and I didn't start our hardcore health journeys until we were in our late 30s and early 40s.
Mhm.
Why? We were just living life. And now it's a very different conversation in the way that we eat, the way that we nourish our body. It is a fun game. I've always loved to shop with my kids because they ask a lot of questions. But we'll go through the store, and my daughter, she'll flip around to the ingredients and look at that. So anything we can do to support people paying attention to what they're putting in their body, we believe will have generational impact to our society.
That is incredible. Like just even that's it's very like a very simple yet impactful approach. And how are you distributing that mostly? Are you utilizing like Instagram? Like what kind of platforms are you on?
So we've done some streaming TV. We've got some bits that we've done with streaming TV. We also believe that TikTok and Instagram are great ways to connect with our consumers. And the reality is, Kay, as we look at it, we pay attention to how consumers receive their information by the retailers they shop in. What we're finding is the natural channel has a lot of affinity towards Instagram and TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
and traditional grocery has an affinity towards Instagram and Facebook, with Facebook taking a bit of a lead. So we've actually dialed up our communication on Facebook to make sure that we're having that communication with those people, as well as doing things in store. In-store banners are flags, if you will. They're an impactful way. They're expensive, but there is the point of contact, the point of decision making for the shopper. You've got to make sure that you capture that.
Sounds like you're covering all the bases in a really great way, touching into so many different aspects and really looking how the consumer is finding your product. That's a really great strategy. Are you utilizing, say, for the people you're working with, maybe the stores, are you utilizing any like CRM to track, or how do you manage all your accounts?
So the marketing team uses Asana to
Okay.
to manage some of the projects that they've got going on. Um, it's an evolution, and I say we're using Asana. We are like 3 weeks into using Asana right now. So, but it is the platform of choice. I recently brought in a president over sales and marketing, and that's one of the first things that he chose to implement, and I support him 100%. Like, if that is the path we need to be successful, then let's go.
Mhm. Mm. Well, thank you for answering these marketing questions. I'd love to dive into now a little focus on you and why you went into this business to begin with.
Yeah.
Looking at your how you started, why did you choose to go into business for yourself as opposed to working for somebody else? And what was that transition like for you?
So I've spent my entire career in some way, shape, or form in consumer packaged goods. I started with a food broker where we represent hundreds of brands. And then I joined a major company, Sara Lee Food and Beverage, which transitioned a couple times and is now part of Tyson Foods. So brands like Jimmy Dean, Ballpark, State Fair, Hillshire Farm. And then I had an opportunity to get into something that was, when I was 30 years old, exciting. I jumped into beverage alcohol, and I ended up running 8.5 years through a couple different companies in beverage alcohol. Um, then into a transition into working for a frozen Italian food manufacturer. And as I exited the frozen food manufacturer, what was important to me was aligning the journey that we were beginning with the product that we were representing. So I share
Mm,
all those other previous companies, or packaging types, brand types. My kids couldn't have as much as they wanted of that. It's like, hey, dad's going and selling this, but you can't have it. Well, why not? Well, it's not good for you. Then why are you selling it? What a different impact when you have the opportunity to join an organization like Bulk that is focused on nutrition and clean organic for all the right reasons. So when the stars all aligned and I had the opportunity to work with the founder and transition in, it became the absolute best thing for my family.
mm. Wow, that's like an impact. That kind of hits the heart because you're like had that realization, you now you're bringing all that beautiful experience that you gained into Malk and into like this product that your kids can have as much as they want of. That's really powerful.
Yeah.
And what is something you faced in this journey this last 4 years, a challenge or a roadblock that you were faced with that you were forced to overcome?
Yeah, we transitioned from self-manufacturing to co-manufacturing, and as part of that, we wanted to ensure that we were delivering the product that consumers wanted. And I had narrowed down our SKU offering from 14 some odd SKUs down to three because we needed to retrench, refocus. And in that, we were doing some consumer testing. And we have an unsweet vanilla at the time. Our three SKUs were unsweet almond, vanilla almond, and original oat. And we did the testing, consumer testing, and the feedback was unanimous. We want more vanilla flavors. Like, great, we'll dial it up. That's easy. We'll just put some natural flavors in there. It'll taste like vanilla. And Kay, it was chaos. It was absolute chaos. When that hit the shelves, our consumers, our loyal fan base said, "What are you doing? No, no, and no."
Mm-hmm.
And that was on the Monday. That, so the Monday after Thanksgiving, that is when the upheaval started. And by Friday, I had aligned with our board of directors to launch a formula that has organic vanilla extract as the only flavor system within the product. So
Mm-hmm.
we walked away from natural flavors completely, and that really helped us to solidify that our consumers are spot on. It needs to be the cleanest without question. And within, I think, 6 weeks after that, we were at retail with that new formulation.
Wow, what a journey. That's just shows like it really like helped you hyper focus into that this is clean. Like this is pure.
The cleanest you can find.
Mhm. And now kind of looking forward, what does business look like for the next 3 to 5 years?
So what I love about consumer packaged goods space is there's always more places to go and there's always more consumers to talk to. I mean, even one of the jokes when I was at the food broker is toilet paper only has a 97 or 98% household penetration, which is always a disturbing fact. But the reality is, if you look at the people that try plant-based milks, that world is over $3 billion in annual revenue. We're a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of that.
Mhm.
And we believe that those consumers deserve the opportunity to have the cleanest organic plant-based milk out on the market. So that's our mission. We want to bring milk to the masses. We found over the last year that there's places that we'll call them milk deserts because I've got a friend in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and when I was talking to him about it, he's like, the closest store to me is 100 miles away. And that solidified us launching our Tetra, which is a shelf stable product, which is the box over my shoulder there. So that is a shelf stable product. It doesn't have to be refrigerated until you open it. So as we continue to bring milk to the masses, it's through different package iterations like a Tetra package that is shelf stable. It's through
Mhm.
utilizing different bases. So we've got almond, we've got oat. We launched this year a cashew. And it's really to make sure that if a consumer is buying a plant-based milk, that they've got a milk option in that base.
That's an incredible like pivot and then they like expansion. That's that's really cool because I'm like thinking about, I'm in North Dakota right now visiting
Hmm.
family and I'm thinking, the options are very limited. So this
Yeah,
is a way to get these places that don't really have those options to have it. Yeah, to have it just like cold.
that's it.
And one more question for you is what is your approach to goal setting? You have a lot of these things you're working on. How do you set and maintain your goals?
So I'm very aligned with our board of directors. I think that's important for any leader that has investors in their organization, that there's alignment in lockstep. And as important as that, we have my executive leadership team. We've got quarterly offsites, and we get in the room and we talk about the challenges we're facing. We talk about the opportunities we see, and then we push ourselves. We push ourselves to say, what is what's real for us in the next 24 months? What's real? And that's really the horizon that we should all look at because things change overnight. So if we look and spend our time looking at the next 24 months, what can we do to bring milk to the masses? Then it's like, okay, now how do we stretch beyond that? Because if you want to land, if your goal is $10 million, you should probably build a plan to $18 million to get to 10. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
get to $50 million, you should probably build a plan to 75 or 100. So you've got to continue to push and stretch your mind to say what is really possible. We are hindered by our own limiting beliefs all the time. So if
Mhm.
we can get outside of our comfort zone and stop limiting our own beliefs and our own growth, then we can go rock this world.
That is probably the best thing I've heard all day today. And it's so very true. So thank you for sharing that. We've covered amazing ground in this conversation so far. And as we're kind of getting to the final part of our conversation, I'd like to throw a few rapid fire questions at you. So, answering top of mind, first thing that comes to your mind, are you ready for some rapid fire?
Let's do it.
All right. First question is, what is the key to success for you?
Being a family man with a business, not a businessman with a family.
Mm. And what is one piece of advice you have for other business owners?
It's going to be hard. You can do it. Get through this hard thing, and it'll help you to get through the next.
Love that. What is one book or any piece of content, could be a podcast, a show, anything that you've taken in most recently?
One of my favorite books, it's my third time through. It's by Dr. Kelly Flanagan. The book's called Lovable, and the subtitle is Embracing What is Truest About You So You Can Truly Embrace Your Life.
Uh,
Phenomenal book.
I just wrote that down. That's on my, I gotta read that. uh, Final question is, if you had to choose only one part of your business you could rapidly improve tomorrow, what would it be?
I think the opportunity for all companies in the growth stage we are is just continued process improvement. You know,
Mhm.
it's one of the biggest discussions that we've had over the last 6 months is what can we do to systematize what we're doing so we can either remove something that we can do tomorrow or make it easier. So the more process we can implement into the business, the less chaotic it is, and the more we can move the business forward.
Oh, wow. Well, that was incredible. Thank you for answering those questions. Well, and how can people find you? How can they get in contact with you, find you on socials?
Yeah. So MALK Organics on Instagram at MALK Organics. Same on LinkedIn. Personally, I'm Jason Bronstad on LinkedIn. You can find me there. I'm not exceptionally active on LinkedIn, but I do tend to get back to people over time.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Jason. And our final question for today, what is most inspiring to you today?
It's my wife. I mean, she's my rock star. We've been married 19 years now. Uh, she's inspiring to me today because we're in the process of moving back into our house after a hot water heater break 3 months ago.
Mm.
And with two kids and chaos and everything else, she has just continued to march through. And I said it earlier, being a family man with the business, I found over the last 4.5, 5 years that when I prioritize my family, not only does that get exceptionally better, but work follows along.
That is something incredible. So thank you, Jason. It has been an absolute joy to have you on the show today. Thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you so much, Kay.
All right, that wraps up our recorded portion. What you said at the end is so powerful. I think more men need to hear that.
It's completely stolen. I'm a part of a group of men called Front Row Dads, and that is the tagline is family men with businesses, not businessmen with families.
Yes, I think that is the most impactful thing I've actually heard in a long time. Just my interactions with men in Austin has been the ones who own businesses, and they could really use some of those words. So thank you for that. And so kind of now wrapping up. So what you'll receive this content in about 7 to 10 days. We'll have you on our national platform as well as our local chapter platform.
Okay.
And then you will get a copy of the raw files to use. You can chop these up, you can post it, you can make blogs, whatever you want out of the content. And then the final thing, as I said earlier today, we realize again, this is an investment of your time. And we'd love to offer you a complimentary session with one of our coaches to maybe work through some of those things you mentioned, processes and things to help expand the business more, or whatever you want the 2 hour session to be. So would it be a terrible idea to get something on the calendar?
So I've got an executive coach. He's actually my neighbor. He lives right through that window. So I'm going to respectfully decline. I appreciate that offer. but I will definitely keep y'all in mind as I think about for my team as we continue to grow and build.
Wonderful. Well, I respect that very much. And I thank you again for your time again. And we'll definitely have this stuff out. I'll connect with you on LinkedIn and just kind
Okay.
of, I want to say I was literally at Whole Foods last week and I tried some organic milks. I bet it was like a sampling and they were very just like no extra ingredients. I don't remember the name, but I wonder if I kind of think it was like, is that
When are you back in Austin?
I'm back in Austin on the 13th.
Okay. What I'll work with Grace, and we will get you loaded up with an entire array of Malk when you get back.
Oh my goodness, thank you. That is incredible.
The only I want to ask honest, candid feedback after you try them all.
Definitely happy to supply.
Awesome. Hey,
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jason. I really appreciate the
thanks so
time today.
much.
Take
Cheers.
care.
Bye.